And Ozolith on this Goblin Raise Runners. No! No, he's gonna shoot it. There's the Austere command. Yeah, I don't love that. We get a lot of 2/2s back up.
Today on Commander Replay, we get to see a ton of cool interactions as we take another look at Boros +1/+1 counters. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's 2 great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some more Boros +1/+1 counters today with Aurelia Exemplar. Looking at this opener here, we've got 1 land. That's going to be an easy mulligan. I am sad we've got Ignite the Future, but just way too risky to try and get to that. Mulligan. Lands plus Sword of the Animus, so card advantage, no card draw. Hopefully we run into some card draw at some point, but at least if we can start ramping, that's a solid place to be. We'll keep this one. So as I mentioned, we're playing Aurelia Exemplar of Justice, one that maybe doesn't get as much love as Big Aurelia, and Aurelia 3 is on the way here pretty soon. But she does have a lot of cool abilities, just that none of those abilities are really card advantage. But for combat, she does give you a lot of cool stuff. There's another land. We really didn't need that. I'm going to go with the tap land first, though I do feel like I should be going for the fetch land just to shuffle. Start pulling lands out of the deck. Anyway, so Aurelia Exemplar of Justice, 4 mana for a 2/5 with flying, has Mentor. Whenever a creature with lesser power attacks, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature gains 2/0 and gains Trample if it's red and Vigilance if it's white. It's a pretty cool little effect. Yes, the main issue with it is that it does not draw cards like most things at 4 mana do these days that live in the command zone, but I've had a lot of fun just putting Trample on big red creatures. Obviously, if you're playing red and white, they get Vigilance and Trample, which is also fun. I don't know, there's just like, she doesn't pigeonhole you into one specific thing. There's a lot you can do with this commander, and I don't know. I've played many different builds with her, and I've enjoyed playing her. So anyway, there were some other options that were available for this deck. In particular, the, what's his name there? That red vampire with background and the white background are a pretty solid option for commanders for this deck, and they'll probably be stronger. Because I think there's, if I remember right, there's some unblockable on there. Is he not on Magic Online? I guess he's not on Magic Online. Yeah, so that's Baloth. Creatures your opponents control with power less than Baloth are goaded. Oh, yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, that's super nasty. Especially in this deck where you're talking about making everything bigger. That's another land. That's not what we wanted. So definitely playing the fetch right here. Crack the fetch. Get our plateau. Start trying to pull lands out of this deck because we need to draw things that are not lands. Let's get our Machias the Lunarch for X1 right here. I mean, we're probably almost going to need one of these blue decks to play a wheel for us at some point, unless we draw a wheel of our own, based on how things are going. Decoction module. What? So, taking a look at our opponents, we have Illegal Xeno piloting Urza, Prince of Kroog. 4 mana for a 2/3. Artifact creatures you control get +2/+2, so Tempered Steel on a commander. And, oh man, what does that say? 6? Yeah, since LASIK, little numbers like that are hard to see. Looks like a 6. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control, except it's a 1/1 soldier creature in addition to its other types. I'm not entirely sure what you do with that, but it seems interesting. The Tempered Steel half is really cool. Next up, we've got D-Manny piloting his level up tribal deck with Ludevic, Necro Alchemist, and Sidar Kondo of Jamora. You gotta watch out for Sidar just because, oh, this can get us cards. That's actually a big deal. That's actually like a massive deal. If we can draw a few extra cards here, that's big game for us. But yeah, we've seen this level up tribal deck a number of times on the channel. He said he's made some changes more recently. I haven't seen all of them. So we'll see how it goes today. But yeah, you gotta watch out for this one late in the game because this messes with your blocking and ugh. I hate when opponents mess with your blocking. I'm someone that likes to block a lot. There's another land. Yeah, we really need to draw cards. Play a Scalding Tarn. Crack a Scalding Tarn. Thin this deck. Get a mountain. Play Sword of the Animist. We need to draw the card, so we're going to attack instead of pumping up the Machias, which makes me sad, but we need it. So at the end step, they take the damage. At the end step here, we get to draw the extra card. Yes, please. Thank God, a creature. Constable of the Realm, a decent one at that. Renown 2, whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Constable of the Realm, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent until Constable leaves the battlefield. So whenever you put a +1 counter on it, you basically O-ring something, which is pretty cool. That's a Genesis Chamber. That's a spicy card that will probably start making it difficult to get attacks through for the, well, I guess we have Aurelia who can flying trample stuff. Yeah, they're going to level up the Skywatcher Adept. You got to watch the proliferates with his deck late in the game, because once he starts proliferating things that aren't level up creatures, things can get bad real quick. What tends to happen is, because I've seen this deck a lot, and I played it a little bit myself, a different version of it, the level up creatures generally aren't great, so they tend to be outshined by everything else in the deck. So when you have something with like a divinity counter on it, and you proliferate that, those get out of control real quick. And the level up creatures immediately start playing second fiddle to those. So that's the thing you got to watch out for with this deck. In hindsight, if I were going to revisit this deck on my own, I would definitely include more proliferates. I still do like having a lot of the mana, because I chose to go really big mana with the version that I played. Also some cost reduction on the abilities. And it was reasonable, but I had like excessive mana production in the game that I played with it. And the creatures are still very mediocre, even with all of that. I had like 50 mana at one point, and all I did was play like 3 or 4 creatures and level them up a bunch, and they were fine. Definitely not worth the mana investment. I do want to play a deck where like I can just jam a Figure of Destiny in it and like have it be reasonably good. Like if you have a Feast and Famine in a deck, Figure of Destiny is a halfway reasonable thing to do with the mana. Another creature, that's a Basri's Lieutenant. Love it. This is awkward. So if we want to be more mana efficient, we can do one of two things. We can equip the sword and get the extra land and then attack somewhere and also draw. Or we can cast Aurelia, which is more mana efficient. I think we can get Aurelia next turn, I guess. Let's get the sword on here. And we'll swing into Xeno one more time while that door is still open. So we'll get the land. Pull lands out of the deck, please. Do not want to draw any more of them. Use the ability. Yeah, let's get a Plains. So the original framework of this deck was built by Mango. Because this was at a time when I was working 2 jobs and just didn't have as much time as I wanted to sit there and try to like... The list started at like 400 cards, and I gave it to Mango, and they took on the challenge of paring this thing down. They sent the list back to me, and then I made, I don't know, probably maybe 10 or 15 changes just to like squeeze in the things that like... Mango made it good, but there were like just some like cute cards that I'm like, I really want to play this. I don't care if it's like that good. Right at the last second, I cut a Slumbering Dragon just because this deck needed more like mana. But I really want to use a Slumbering Dragon. I'm going to play the Hainware Battlements right here. We could go the Sacred Foundry, but I just want to make sure this is out of our hand in case a wheel happens. And we get to draw once again. Use the ability. The Ozolith. Sweet. And potentially we should be able to like play a 4-drop and get that in next turn, which all seems very good. Urza, Prince of Kroog coming in. Oh yeah, that seems good with a Genesis Chamber. Those will all be 3/3s. But the card draw from D-Manny has helped immensely, because now we have a reasonably playable hand. Like if we were just staring at all these lands, oh man, this is going to be not a great game for us, but we've got some action. We've got some things we can do, so see how it goes. Notably, Constable of the Realm will be really good against the mirror tokens, because they won't come back, so that's something. Also, resetting the level up creatures could be pretty nasty too. So we might want to play carefully with this one. D-Manny will drop a board wipe at some point. You can usually count on him to drop one in a game, so we'll want to play really careful with our Constable of the Realm and not run it into that if we can. In fact, Basri's Lieutenant gives us a little bit of protection against board wipes, which is nice. Gives you some creatures back when things start dying. That is a Peer Imaginative Rascal. Yep. It triggers the Genesis Chamber, and they can go find Toothy. Yep. Toothy, yeah, Toothy is like a scary thing that can be proliferated, right? Everflowing Chalice, kicked one time. 1-1 coming our way, we're wide open, and 2-2 over to Delta. Yep. Delta's gonna crack the Blighted Woodland, seems good. So, honestly, with this deck, I've played this deck a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's just really fun. Like, it's one of those decks that I was playing something last year that, like, gave me the idea that I'm like, wait a second. I think a Boros +1/+1 counter deck might work. And then I went through and just, like, I searched every red and white card that deals with +1/+1 counters, and there was like 400 of them. And I think those are the ones that were like playable. I think there's like probably some really bad ones from back in the day that I didn't even include in that. And yeah, it's like a much bigger list than I thought. And you know, it's weird because there isn't a commander that like directly says you must play Boros +1/+1 counters. You know, there's so many commanders coming out now, and I feel like most people just do like the most obvious thing with that commander because there are just a lot of them. And there isn't one that like screams be a +1/+1 counter deck. Aurelia is one of the better options as it can put counters on things, but you know, there's not really like a huge payoff for that. So that being the case, yeah, it's just like, it's not a deck that I've seen, but I've really enjoyed playing. It's just fun. It can be a little bit stronger than what it is, especially if you use, like I cut a Feast and Famine before we went to the game. Feast and Famine will make it a lot stronger, but that's an Indominus Rex. Yep. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But yeah, it's not going to be like the strongest deck ever, but in a setting where attacking and creatures are good, your creatures get really big, and there's a lot of like cool little abilities that you can play with, so yeah, it's a fun deck. I've just really enjoyed it. It is one I thought about making in paper. I haven't really been buying cards in paper of late, but if I resume purchasing, this is one that I would look at. All right, Indominus Rex Alpha. Let's take a look at this thing. So 5 mana for a 7/7. It's got a million keywords on it. Let's see what it says. Enters the battlefield, discard any number of creature cards. It enters with a flying counter if a card was discarded with flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each counter on it. Oh my god. Yeah, that's nasty. That is a really nasty card. Wow. That does so much for so little. What'd they discard? So that's like Sultai keywords. It's basically the deck. Menace and Lifelink on this guy. Flying Haste on that guy. Okay, yeah, that's a solid discard target right there. Especially in those colors, you do not get a lot of... there's Flying and Haste together. Yeah, there can't be a lot of that in these colors. Miri, Vampire Kitty, maybe. But yeah, pretty rare. Reach, Trample, yeah. Okay. Sultai keywords. I see what's happening. There's a Goblin Raise Runners. This one's really interesting. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may have it deal damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to target player or planeswalker. And you can sacrifice a land and pay 2 to put a counter on it, but we probably won't be doing that unless it's going to like win us the game. Play the Rogue's Passage again in case of a wheel or something like that. Let's get Aurelia into play. We get to make a 1/1. I know what we can do. Okay, so there's 2 1/1s over here. We can attack into Delta, and then... So this will get Vigilance, and then with Vigilance, we can pump it up afterwards. Seems reasonable. I like that. Let's also get the Ozolith in. We could have hasted Aurelia, and it doesn't matter that much, I don't think. But yeah, let's do everything I just said. So Aurelia trigger, put that on the Machias. Won't get Trample, sadly. So we won't get the card draw, but even just getting the land is fine. We actually have some things in our hand now, so that's good. Use the Sword of the Animist. Let's get a mountain. Is there an Emeria in this deck? Yes. Now grab all the planes then. Grab all the planes. See if they want to block. They block with 1. Yeah, we passed like that. Kind of caught the bigger part of our mana curve here with a lot of 4 and 5 drops, so a little bit clunky getting all the stuff down, but if the board wipe happens really soon, that may be a saving grace and that we don't lose too much. You know, if you run all your like 2 and 3 drops out there and the board wipe goes off, find yourself empty-handed really quickly. The Genesis Chamber is going to make it hard to, like, attack with small ground creatures. So if we activate this at the end step and put a counter on everything else, it would become a 1/1 with no counters. These 2 would get counters. In theory, if we can find a safe spot to attack for the Machias, we could use Aurelia to mentor it. I don't know if we'll be able to find such a spot, though. I guess we'll see what Delta does. If they don't have much in the way of blocking, we might be able to do something like that. Our next play should probably be the Basri Lieutenant, just because... Oop, that's a Beast Within on the Indominus Rex. Love it. Love it. That is one of those things, though, that does seem scary, because, like, 1, they drew a million cards. 2, if they recast it, like, they can put even more stuff on it, and that's also scary. There's an Elspeth Resplendent. Cool little card. Put a +1/+1 counter and a counter from among Flying, First Strike, Lifelink, and Vigilance on a creature. It's pretty cool. Top 7 mana value with card with mana value 3 or less. What is that? Into the hand or into play? Onto the battlefield with a shield counter. Pretty cool. And make a whole bunch of angels if you ultimate it. Notably, it is on ultimate loyalty already. So we may want to think about attacking that. We do have a flyer, which is nice. Unfortunately, if we want to draw a card, we'll soak up a bunch of our damage. D-Manny doing some attacking. Ooh, this is flying. That is flying and vigilance. We can't necessarily get through that. I guess we could, so that'd be 4. We could if we use our Machias, and we may do that. Ludevic. If I ever build this thing in paper, I think the Ozolith is still stupid expensive, if I'm not mistaken. That will be terrible. Oh my god, it's like $38 to $43 for the Ozolith. Ugh. There's a Beast Whisperer. It's not even a mythic. It's not even a mythic. It's a rare. How is it so much? Genesis Chamber for the Beast Whisperer. Oh, that cast a creature. Okay, doesn't affect that, but still. Miri the Cursed. There it is. It's a she, right? Yeah. Cool little card. Always wanted to build it as a commander. Never did, but probably should. As a mono black card with flying, first strike, and haste. That's particularly with the haste. That's not a thing you get a lot of in mono black. Even first strike. Yeah, I guess there's some first strike in black, but probably tends to be on knights. Like, yeah. There's limited first strike in black. There's some. Okay, so there's definitely not going to be a place to like safely squeeze in this Machias anywhere because everything's too big. But at the end step here, we are going to tap this to put a counter on itself, and then I think we'll start pumping next turn because we'll probably drop the Basri Lieutenant, get another Mirror token, and then start pumping all that stuff, and that seems like a pretty good place to be. War Room is a nice land. Let's get the War Room once again in case of a wheel. Yeah, get the Basri's Lieutenant. I'm not expecting anything mid-combat, but just in case. Oh, we can guess the second 4-drop if we are smart about what we're doing. Okay. Get the Basri's Lieutenant. We can put a counter on a creature we control. Putting a counter on Machias is probably the best idea. Genesis Chamber will trigger. Get the Goblin Raise Runners. Yeah, we definitely want to put some damage on this Elspeth. What do we got here? That's a 2/2. It's a 1/4. That's a 4/4. Can't get in there. Yeah, we're not going to be able to draw the card right here, which is a little scary. Yeah, we got to go Aurelia. Ooh, maybe we can. What is this? At the beginning of your end step. Oh, we can get damage with this. Nice. Okay. We can get damage with that to trigger the Ludevic, and we badly need that card draw. It does shoot Planeswalkers also, but for the 1 damage. Send Aurelia into the Planeswalker. See if D-Manny's thinking about blocking. No blocks. We will activate Machias to put a counter on each other creature we control. I wonder if we could have attacked with a 1/1. So if we attack with a 1/1, it mentors. The 1/1 becomes a 3/3. We still probably lose it. Yeah, we could have put it into D-Manny, I guess. But, yeah, we hit. Goblin Raise Runners will trigger. We have 1 damage, so we'll ping Xeno with that so we can draw the card. Also, they have more life than Delta. Plus, I don't want to make that Indominus Rex too angry. We chop this thing down to 3 loyalty, so it's going to have a ways to go to get back up. Use the ability. Oh, no! The sequence didn't work. The timing's off. Oh, that stinks. That stinks. Oh, it doesn't trigger the thing. Bummer. Okay. Well, our hand is looking thin. We do have a War Room. Oh, I forgot to move the sword, too. Well, we've ramped a bit. I mean, obviously, you like to get all the lands you can. If a board wipe does not go off here, we'll have to move the sword. But we did get the 2 clunky 4-drops out of our hand. Hopefully, we don't get punished by the board wipe for all of that. Yeah, they're going to pump the flyer. Put more stuff on it. Now it's got lifelink, and it's a 6/6. Okay. It's bigger than our Aurelia. They can poke back at us if they want to. Wouldn't be the best. Ooh, that's a Cankerbloom. Can destroy an artifact, an enchantment, or proliferate. Which means if a board wipe goes off the Ozolith, 100% gets shot. They're going to discover 4 by sacrificing this land. Those are commons. I was playing that Valduk Pauper deck the other day. If there's a red version of this, probably put that in the deck. Into Unnatural Restoration, returning the land. Okay. And they get to proliferate. Ew. This thing's going to start making crazy mana by the end of the game. The interesting balance for this deck is having the right number of cards that, give, team +1/+1 counters versus cards that care about having +1/+1 counters. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's got 10 power? This is going to hurt. It's a quarter of our life. We definitely, can't get back in through that either, at least not for a while. I guess we have a Rogue's Passage, so I guess in theory we could, but not really looking to poke the bear that much. Someone's going to have to play a board wipe now. This thing's back on 7, so we will need to shoot that with our Goblin guy. Although, we've got to be careful because they could just proliferate it. If we don't get enough damage in, they could proliferate it back past ultimate range. And then someone has to play a board wipe with that many angels going off. I guess it's 5/3/3 angels. That's a lot of flying damage. And that's the type of thing that, even if it doesn't beat you all in one turn, consecutive turns of that is just hard to deal with. Needs to be a board wipe if that happens. Sylvan Library for Delta. Their commander can get, big enough and strong enough that it could swing through D-Manny's mess over there. Oh, you know what we could do? We can just play this thing and get rid of that. Reset it. That's not a bad idea. Noxious Gearhulk. Let's see where this is going. Triggers the Genesis Chamber. Yeah, gonna shoot the big one. Yeah. After we took the big punch from it. But it does open up the air. They have any flyers? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have a Miri, so they can put some damage on the Planeswalker if they want to. Yeah, they're going to attack the Planeswalker. Love it. That should free us up to be able to do some stuff. Banehound. Lifelink and haste, huh? As a common? It's interesting. The protection from multicolor doesn't appear to be doing a whole lot for us in this moment. Looks like just about everything on board is monocolored. There's a Forge of Heroes. Read this one again. Choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, or a loyalty if it's a planeswalker. We can hold off on that one. I do want to get the planes count up. Again, keep getting lands out of the deck. So I think we go Windswept. Let's see. Are we playing this Constable of Heroes? That's going to be the first question. My concern is that we are in must-wipe board territory. And, like, a single target of this doesn't really change the dynamic that much. So I think we probably hold that. I think we probably draw with the War Room. Down to 23. Thran Dynamo is okay. Maybe not exactly what I was looking for right here. Play the Windswept Heath. Play the Thran Dynamo. As long as like an artifact board wipe doesn't go off, the Thran Dynamo will help us like recast and use abilities and do other stuff. As long as it sticks. I'm going to move the sword over to Aurelia. Do need to draw the cards. We need to hit someone other than D-Manny. What about the 2/2s? Yeah, the 2/2s become 3/3s. We can send some of the tokens into D-Manny. Who's getting the Aurelia trigger? Could put that here and that would get spicy. I think I want to leave them home though. Yeah, I guess we just put it on Aurelia then. We'll send 2 of these into D-Manny. We'll leave 1 back just for in case we need blocking fodder. Send this one into Xeno because Xeno is tapped out, and there's 1 blue mana over there. Makes me nervous. Ooh, mentor ability. We'll mentor one of the tokens. Love it. Love when I get to use that mentor ability. Doesn't happen often, but every once in a while. This deck is reasonably well suited for it. I once turned the Knight of the White Orchid into a 4/4, and a 4/4 first strike for 2 mana. Very solid. Yeah, use the ability. Keep grabbing those planes in the event of a Maria. The Mentor happens. See if opponents want to block at all. Opponent will block 1 token. And then we'll activate the Machias to pump the team. Yeah, it's a little bit of damage. That's a 7 in the air to Xeno. It's all commander damage. I wasn't really looking to poke them that much. Honestly, I'd rather be going over here, but that 1 blue mana. That 1 blue mana will scare you. Are we cracking this thing? We'll crack this thing. See if there's an Alpine Meadow in the deck. There's Mistveil Plains. That's good enough. Grab the Mistveil Plains. Raise Runners will trigger, so there's 2 counters on that. We'll ping down the Planeswalker a little bit more. Make sure it stays off ultimate. We get to draw with the thingy. Ooh, Norn's Choir Master. Yeah. Use the ability on the Raise Runners. I love this. Just pinging down these Planeswalkers. Just keeping them off ultimate. So good. Having the ability to interact with Planeswalkers is important because like sometimes the board gets clogged and you can't necessarily attack them. And people that are playing Planeswalkers try to make it so they can keep them alive. So just having some direct damage to a Planeswalker, nice thing to have around. I do like Magma Quake. I don't play it as much as I used to, but if you can support the mana for it, Magma Quake is a solid board wipe because when there are Planeswalkers, you probably need to get rid of them. And Magma Quake is a reasonable option to do that. Anyway, Norn's Choir Master is 5 mana, 5/4, flying first strike. Whenever a commander you control enters the battlefield or attacks, proliferate. Whew. A lot of proliferating on that. Haven't really got to use it. I've only played this deck a couple times and things just haven't worked out where it showed up at the right time. So it will be spicy if we get to use it this game. Opponent's just making artifacts over there. Not a lot of flying blocking on their side. Where's opponent's energy counters? Oh, is that them? Piers Whim. No. Oh, we can each foe sacrifices an artifact or enchantment. These are artifacts, right? Yeah, we can just sacrifice them here. That's not so bad. Yeah, Genesis Chamber is a weird card. There are plenty of reasons to run it in a deck. Like, I totally understand why you run it in this deck. But it is a thing that, like, it does make the board get really clogged. And also just, like, there's a ton of artifacts and creatures out there. So stuff like this will become way less effective. Generally, ground attacks usually get stopped pretty good. Unless you have, like, a Galta or some really big trampoly thing. The dynamic changes quite a bit when everyone's got a whole bunch of 1/1s running around. Yeah, I guess we get rid of the smallest one. I think we get a Knight back out of it, don't we? Indeed we do. Ooh, and the Ozolith triggers. Love that. Love that. That's totally going to get shot. Going to put a counter on the Ludevic. Okay. There's a True Conviction in the deck. True Conviction is really good for this deck because your creatures get big. So that lifelink and double strike. Ooh, you gain a lot of life. I would love to gain that life right now. With this much stuff on board, not hard for someone to find 22. That's a Volakut Awakening for opponent. Trying to filter to a better hand. Chromatic Lantern, well, that's not a massive play. It's not what I thought he was going to do. I'm surprised opponent hasn't recast their commander. Takes 7 mana to get it back. Oh, I guess they haven't ramped. No, they could cast it. They've got 2 mana dorks. Is this it? Oh, this might be it. I see the Opal Palace getting used. Vengeful Reaper, Flying Death Touch, Haste. There's a lot more haste in black than I remember. I mean, there's probably not that much of it, but opponent probably has every single instance of it in their deck. That is a good blocker, though. Flying Death Touch, Haste. Where'd it go? I lost it. I can't. There it is. Flying Death Touch, Haste. Yeah, Flying Death Touch is really good blocking. That's enough to keep me away. You want to not get poked by Aurelia. Sadbot coming in. Maybe they're 2 also. No, because it wouldn't. If they're thinking about a board wipe, it wouldn't make sense to just like run down all your small creatures. Yeah, I'm surprised this has not shown back up. Because it also draws a million cards too. And I assume that you do reanimatory things with the deck also, right? Because you're in theory discarding a lot of stuff. Seems like a really strong deck. I'm actually kind of curious to check it out myself. But importantly, no one played a board wipe this turn, so we should be able to do some damage. Vengeful Reaper, gonna swing into the Elspeth. Opponent's mirrors are 4/4s. Ours are still a little small for that. D-Manny says the Elspeth has absorbed so much damage that it has. It was at 8 loyalty at one point. It's probably eaten what? By the time we shoot it down, probably a good 10 damage. It's eaten up. It's on 2. I am thinking about pumping this thing just because it's fun. Like, the better play for the Ozolith here, assuming D-Manny doesn't shoot it, is either pumping Aurelia for the commander damage or pumping this Mikaeus. Wait, when does this happen? At the beginning of combat, okay. Or pumping this Mikaeus just to keep a steady stream of counters on it. But I want to pump this thing up just because it's funny. What's this one do? At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever another non-soldier you control dies, make a 1/1 soldier artifact creature token. Cool. Some more counters. That's good. Gives us room to do stuff. Man, the question is, how hard do we commit? This thing flies. That's a big deal, actually. So I think the play is going to be something like, get this Norn's Choir Master, make a 1/1, get this Siege Veteran, make another 1/1, give the Choir Master haste. Is there still no flyers over here? Yeah, I mean, I guess we keep poking Xeno, even though I want to do some work on Delta. Yeah, okay. We'll send this one into... We'll sell the Aurelia into Delta and the other one into Xeno. D-Manny seems to be a little bit stuck, so we can let off the gas just a teeny bit. Plus, we're going to shoot his Planeswalker. Go to combat. Who's getting the thing? Yeah, on itself, I guess. Siege Veteran on the Mikaeus. Nice little combo right there. And Ozolith on this Goblin Raise Runners. Oh, I should have put a counter on this thing. Whoops. Use the Ozolith's ability. Okay, this one into Delta and this one into Xeno. Are there any other attacks that make sense? Yeah, D-Manny doesn't have great blocks for this Basri's Lieutenant. Declare attacks. With all that... Ooh, we can mentor a thing. Let's mentor the Choir Master. Love it. Yeah. Oh, no, we did it out of order. It's okay. It's actually going to be okay. Proliferate. Then we'll activate the Mikaeus. Oh, we could have attacked harder. I wasn't really thinking about how big our creatures were going to get, although we do need to leave blockers. There's still a ton of stuff on board. Use the Sword of the Animist ability. Get another planes. I think if we play a planes, we're on 7. So if we see a Maria, we'll be good to go. Proliferate. Pump up all of our stuff. Mentor. This one's still bigger, so it'll get another counter. Love it. Love it. I will be sad if the board wipe goes off, though. Especially like if it's one where we don't get value on the Bastards Lieutenant, that would be terrible. Like if it's bounce or something like that. It's like a Blasphemous Act. We'll get a bunch of 2/2s back, which won't be the worst. But I'm enjoying all of these effects right now. Opponent's going to block with a 1/1. I mean, with 6 counters on this thing, it's probably not worth shooting the 2 loyalty Planeswalker at this point. They're just going to throw some mirrors in front to block. We got a nice battle cruiser game going right here. Just everyone lining up their creatures. Ours are bigger and better at the moment, but, you know. No! No, he's going to shoot it. Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh, I just want to be very silly with this guy. Oh. We do get counters on the Ozolith, though. D-Manny says, this epic game moment brought to you by D-Manny. Yep. But we still have some damage going into our opponents here. Flying is still my favorite keyword. especially as like things have gotten like more value centric. The air is usually just wide open. You can get all your damage through. Ground's all clogged up, getting blocked by mirrors. Okay, so Xeno down to 19 and Delta down to 25 with 9 commander. Let's get the planes into play. I do want to leave up white mana just to make them think that we might have like a Teferis or something like that. Even though we don't. Maybe we draw one here at the end step. But just to put a doubt in someone's mind. There's the Ludevic ability. Use the ability. Thundering Raiju, cool card. When it attacks, put a counter on it on a creature you control. Then it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than the Raiju. Oh, man. If we survive another turn without a board wipe going off, we can do so much damage with that. Where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than the Raiju. That'd be 10 damage. Yeah. This is one that I've been wanting to use more. Haven't really got to use it, but I'm excited. What's the Antiquities War do? Doesn't sound good. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them. Put it in your hand, rest on the bottom in a random order. Mode 3, artifacts you control have base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. Okay, they'll all get huge. Watch out for that. Where's that true conviction? Gain a lot of life. Try to keep ourselves safe. No board wipe yet. 2 players to go. Did we gain life on something? Any of these guys have lifelink? Oh, it was the swords. Yep, swords on our guy. Gain some life. Back to 31. As much as I'm very sad about losing our guy, I was really hoping to kill people with this. Yeah, they're gonna shoot the Ozolith. Ozolith goes down. Yeah, that's been bound to happen for a while. Opponent's trying to sift through all the board wipe protection. I'd really prefer if they didn't shoot our Basri's Lieutenant. Would love to get something back on the board wipe that's probably about to go off. D-Man going to send Justice Commander. That looks like trying to draw a card. I am nervous about the fact that he hasn't played anything. That could be a rift. That would be backbreaking. I think there's 2 mass protection cards in the deck. Got a Teferi's Protection, and we got... Where's the 4-mana one? Semester's End. Wouldn't mind drawing one of them, because the thing that we fear right now is the board wipe. Looks like opponent's going to block with the birds. Try to stop the damage. Man, D-Man's got lifelink. His life total's going the wrong direction. Is it 43? Ugh. Oh no, the Myojin. Yep, this is a win condition. He's down to 2 cards, though. Question is how many proliferates he has. There's the Austere Command. Yeah, don't love that. Don't love that. Alright, it's going to be tough now. It's just going all creatures. We get a lot of 2/2s back. Yep, back to the command zone. But he can race us pretty good with this. Ugh. Yeah, like I knew it was going to show up eventually. The problem is he's got it right with his win condition. Oh, you know what though? We don't have a way to put a counter on this right now. That's a problem. We need a way to put a counter on this, because then if we can exile this thing. I mean, he can still respond instant speed, but at least he can't just keep looping it. We'll just activate the War Room right here so we can tap out. We have a sizable number of 2/2s, but not enough to chew through 43 life, plus all the fact that he can make a ton of blockers. Cathar's Crusade is a magic card. That'll put some +1/+1 counters on things. Okay. Cathar's Crusade gives us hope. We can turn these into 4/4s? That... It probably won't kill him, but we can maim him really badly. I do worry about Delta's commander, the Indominus Rex, coming back with just being big, nasty with a whole bunch of keywords. That would be terrifying. Plus, like, cycling and looting all kinds of stuff to their grave. Yep, here that comes. See what kind of keywords they get. It discards an Ulamog, so is that indestructible? Oh my god, that's a lot of stuff. Death Touch, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, and Trample. So that's the old Death Touch Trample. Makes it super hard to block. And Ulamog will cycle their graveyard. Let's see where they want to point that. Would love if it wasn't at us. We did chip them pretty hard last turn. They may not be feeling great about that. That's Cabal Coffers. That's scary. No Urborg in play. Maybe not so bad. But if they have it in their hand... He's going to go into the Planeswalker. Love it. Love it. Yeah, that thing's been generating value all game. They're going to make a bunch of spirits. Does this have flying? No flying. So they can make enough that... Okay, this is good. This is very good for us. Because this will eat up a bunch of... if he does it again, that's still a ton. It's a ton of 1/1s. But we can chew through all of them. That's a thing. Ooh, that's got indestructible. Okay, so this isn't even going to chew through that many of them. And if he doubles up the tokens again... God, that's so many tokens. The Planeswalker goes down. He did not block properly to keep it alive. Maybe thinking about he's got to double up the tokens and just doesn't want to lose that many. Oh, that's a shield. Wait, is that a divinity counter? What kind of counter is that? Ah, Deluge. No. It's not even going to kill this. Oh, Death Touch. Wait, does Death Touch kill Planeswalkers? Oh, that's not good. They just threw the game. Because this is still alive. That's really bad. I guess we can hit it with the Constable. Still, they can make a bunch more 1/1s. Showdown of the Skulls is a cool card. We need to go first. We need to go Cathars first. Let's get the Constable. I don't think we're using War Room this turn. Ooh, Genesis Chamber Cathar's Crusade? Love that. Love that. Slamming creatures might be the way to go here. Constable, exile the divinity guy. What's this one called? Myojin of Blooming Dawn. Yep, he's gonna do the thing. Another Cathar's Crusade. Let's get the Indominus. Yeah, let's get the Indominus Rex out of play. It's real scary. Next, get the Thundering Raiju. Cathar's Crusade, Genesis Chamber. Love this. Start exiling these tokens. Man, that's still a ton of tokens, though. What's next? I've been thinking about whether to haste this or put the sword on the Raiju. Oh, man, the 7/7. There's just so many tokens. Can't chew through that. We're also pretty exposed if he wants to come back. So that being the case, I'm going to go Forge of Heroes right here and just equip the sword. And then the mana should help us for plays with Showdown of the Scalds next turn. Showdown of the Scalds, get our commander haste stuff. Send this into Delta. Sword of the Animist. Ooh, that's each opponent? Oh, yeah. Love it. It'll be 4 to each opponent. Wait, what? Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then, oh, okay. So we need to put a counter on a creature we control. Well, put it on this guy. Keep exiling stuff. Down to 9 tokens. Use the sword ability. Let's get a mountain. So opponents down to 16, 40, and 19. Would love to get to work on D-Manny, but just the tokens. If we can, let's see. At the very least, we can cast Aurelia, and that'll get us 2 exiles for the spirits. And then as we get down to like 7/7, we should be able to start attacking over there. Showdown of the Scalds could help a little bit with that too. Urza coming back. Genesis Chamber, Decoction Module, Fabrication Module. D-Manny down to 2 cards. Let's see what he's got. Izuri is a nasty one. Enters battlefield, proliferate if you do draw a card. They don't have a lot to proliferate, only 2 things it looks like. So just trying to draw cards with that play. I guess they can draw 4 cards if they do it twice. Oh, they can proliferate more stuff is what they can do. Okay, so they're gonna get a bunch of cards. Oh, I keep forgetting. We have a Rogue's Passage. We're probably gonna want to start using that. Ooh, they proliferate this thing, so they're just gonna waste this for opponent, and they're gonna draw a bunch of cards off of that. Okay, it was just 2 cards. Thank God. They're up to 3 cards. One's a land. Delta, the only one with a lot of cards, with 7, and the Sylvan Library still in play. That does make me nervous. That could be a lot of things. They're going to proliferate with the Karn's Bastion. Does that get them more card draw? Yep. So just trying to draw cards over there. Looking for answers. Grateful Apparition. Yep. More proliferate. And a flying blocker. That's notable. And let's see what Delta's got. This turn could be scary. I mean, more removal would be terrible for us. And drag this game out many more turns. They more or less have to tap out if they want to get their commander back, which is part of the reason I did that. Now, if they do that, they're probably not going to be too thrilled with us. And we might have to expect to get eaten by that thing in the air or get hit by it. I guess it doesn't innately have flying, but they have 9 cards in hand. One of them probably has flying, right? But they do also have the problem of, like, if they don't kill our guy here, we just do it again. Here it comes. It's a 9/9. Oh, my God. You do need to worry that they're going to find removal eventually. We may have to take them down. This thing just represents, like, a lot of unstoppableness. It's indestructible. Death Touch, First Strike, Flying, and Haste. Yeah, that's just a nasty set of keywords. Uh-oh, they're conspiring against us. Opponent taking a while to think about their attacks. They have Vigilance? No Vigilance, so their commander will be tapped out if they send it somewhere. Going to D-Manny. Love it. Love it. We need the ability to instant speed make a creature or get a counter on this thing, so that way, like, I would love to not shoot it if we don't have to. Ooh, no trample. Oversold Cemetery. Oh, yeah. Yeah, seems good for that deck. I offered Delta a deal that, like, I'm sure they want to keep their dinosaur. I would love to not get hit by their dinosaur. D-Manny's still at 38. Fighter class is interesting. What equipment are in the deck? Mask of Memory would be a solid one at this point. Truth and Justice, also not bad. Yeah, probably just between Mask of Memory and Truth and Justice. Both are solid, though. Let's start with the Showdown of the Scalds. See what we can draw into. Pray it's not lands, like it needs to be gas. What'd we get? Ooh, Wheel of Fortune, you say. Wheel of Fortune, Mask of Memory, Staff of Completion, Illuminarch Aspirant. Whew, those are pretty good hits right there. Pretty good hits. Do I want to give up the fighter class? Nah, maybe I will, just because, like, given where we are on the deck, we're, like, probably going to run into Sun Titan at some point. Because it would take 5 mana to get that. Well, play the Sacred Foundry untapped. Do I want to give everyone else the Wheel of Fortune? That's the question. Do you get till the end of next turn on this thing? Oh, you get 2 turns with these, don't you? Until the end of your next turn. Okay, so next turn is probably the Wheel of Fortune. Because we do not want to fuel everyone else up. Well, we've got stuff to do. So, yeah, let's get Fighter Class. EDTBs. Let's get Truth and Justice. Oh, there's also Lion Sash. Yeah, Lion Sash wouldn't be awful, but Truth and Justice is fun. I don't get to use it nearly enough, and it's really good for this deck. So, we'll go with that. I don't think we're using War Room this turn. What do we need to proliferate with this thing? 3 life. Ugh, gross. Get the old Mask of Memory. And this is why I was like trying to ramp and get all of our lands even late, because I knew plays like this would start to become a thing, where you just like need to cast a lot of cards. Upgrade the fighter class. How much mana do we have left? 4 is awkward. We can, can't we cast both? We can go 3, then 2. Yep, we can do both. But then we don't proliferate. I guess, well, the sword will proliferate, so yeah, that seems fine. Okay, get the staff, make some mana, pay some life, cast the Illuminarch Aspirant. You know, we're actually probably not going to, because we didn't use the Rogue's Passage this turn, we're not going to get a sword trigger, I don't think. Constable, keep exiling tokens. We'll free equip this thing. I don't think D-Manny would trade every creature he controls to... Well, if we send a bunch of stuff at him. Okay, yeah, that's what we should be doing. Put another one on here. We'll exile the 3/3. Makes their blocking much, much worse. Yeah, there's not like a ton of things on the board, so... we're going to force D-Manny into a bunch of blocks here, is what we're going to do. Sword of the Animist and Thundering Raiju trigger. We'll put a counter on... What are we putting a counter on? This thing, I guess. Eat another token. Actually, we'll eat one of these tokens. Sword of the Animist. Get a land. So, things are going pretty good. What I do like also is, so next turn, we have all this mana, because we've ramped like crazy. Sword of the Animist almost every turn of the game. And this will be on the second mode, so as long as we have a creature in play, everything we get with the wheel and we cast will pump up that creature massively, so... yeah. We got cool stuff. There's cool interactions in this deck, and I have not been disappointed. We got to do a lot of fun stuff. There's only, the other 2 board wipes, I guess, but they were both pretty late, so we got to, like, have a lot of stuff before they happened, which has been really cool. Like, one of my things with this deck is I just wanted to see more of the deck. Yeah, I think that's everything we can do. Pass like that. He blocked a whole bunch, lost a bunch of tokens, and went down to 28. I thought we'd get, like, a little more in there. I think it was mostly the damage from this thing, but yeah, well, there are a lot of cool interactions. I like the Wheel of Fortune, Showdown, +1/+1 counters interaction is going to be great. Showdown of the Skulls is so good. Oh, man. One thing we have to... Our clock is down to 8 minutes, so, like, if a board wipe goes off, we probably can't even rebuild. Just, like, the lag is super nasty. The lag wasn't great at the start of this game, and it's only gotten worse, so I'm actually very concerned about all that. Now, if we survive and no board wipes, if we can get we need a few more creatures in play. The Genesis Chamber is out there. In theory, this thing with the direct damage can just burn everyone out. What does this one do? Until end of turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes a 4/4. Oh, that could be scary. What's the final mode on this one? Whenever a creature you control taps up to one target creature... Oh, up to one target creature blocks this combat if able. Nah. Sometimes you want that. It's pretty rare that I go to that mode. Like, I have to have, like, nothing going on. Oh, God, they're all coming at us, and they're giant. Oh, I could have left more blockers. That one's flying. That one's flying. Oh, we might die. We might die. Do we have any flyers? That one's not flying. Oh, no, I think we're gonna die. We don't have any flyers. Because that's 10. 22. Oh, yeah, we're dead. Well, that sucks. Yeah, we're at -3. We're dead. Oh, that sucks. we still had a really good game. Like, I got to do everything I wanted to do this game, other than this Wheel of Fortune, Showdown of the Skulls nonsense. But very happy with how this game went. So this is one of those things that I haven't played that much Commander of late, is like, I should have just went for the easy kills. Because based on what was on board, I probably could have killed both Xeno and Delta. I think. I'd have to like check all the numbers again, but that probably could have happened. But D-Manny with all the tokens just making me very nervous. Although, maybe I should like... He's basically out of cards, though he had the Azuri, though I think we exiled the Azuri, so he couldn't draw with it. D-Manny's never really out of it, so, there is that. Hot a Spy Patrol coming in. Yeah, that's a case where you need the fog, or... I mean, all their stuff got flying, and like they didn't have that much in play when their turn started, right? They turned all their artifacts into creatures, which... That's a hard thing to foresee. So, yeah, it really just a matter of, like, having the fog. We did not. And that's one of the things with this deck, too, is that, like, I am trying to get as many fun things into the deck as I possibly can, which means there's not as many fogs. I would love another fog in the deck. But I've got 29 creatures right now. Yeah, right? The deck would get stronger if it had 26 creatures with an extra fog and probably a little more removal. Maybe another card draw spell. But that's the price you pay if you want to have some fun. Overall, though, it's been a great game. Just, real battle cruisery. Everyone just lining up the creatures and not a lot of tricks. Love that. Just lay your stuff down there and barely anything happened to it. I mean, I guess a board wipe went off, but we were the most annoying one with the Constable of the Realms exiling everyone's stuff. War of the Last Alliance, that's a scary one. Search for 2 legendary cards, one at a time. Put them into your hand, and then creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. The ring tempts you. Yeah, that's a really good card. I would pick some of these up. I'm not saying they're going to be like $1 million, but it's the type of thing that it's just like it's useful for a lot of decks. And last I looked, they were pretty cheap. If they're like under $1, definitely grabbing these. I picked up a few. I could pick up a few more. Though, again, haven't really bought cards in a while. I think I bought shortly after. I bought in the fall. That was the last time I bought cards, and then... Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. See when the next purchases are, but D-Man is sending the 1/1s and 3/3. Yeah, I mean, I guess Delta's at 10, so this will hurt. They're going to be really low. Yeah, they blocked the big one. They're going to go to like single digits. They got lifelink? No lifelink. Yeah, that'd be one you want right now. I actually want to check this deck out. Seems like a cool deck. He's at 1. It's got all the life he needs. If you can put lifelink on there. A little bit of size wouldn't hurt either. Like just throwing a Blackblade. No, he's missing Trample. Luxon on Warhammer, that's the card you want. Throw that on there right now. Though, D-Mini has still just a lot of power on board relative to everyone's life totals. Not like a massive amount, but the other 2 players' life totals are very low. So what he has is enough. Plus, yeah, Sidar is in play now, so it's hard to block. 8 cards in hand, though. Could make a big play. Scavenge Brawler, nice. That was, I put that one into our deck at the last minute. Ooh, yeah. So now it's a 13/13 with lifelink and trample and all the stuff it needs. Yeah, this is a cool card. Not for like casting it as a creature, but for doing the exile ability. Pretty sweet. So now Delta can win this game. If I were Delta, I'd probably kill Xeno and go 1v1 with D-Manny. Though, I mean, he would go to 14 life unless he has more stuff right here. He would go to 14 life. Ooh, exile target player's graveyard. You gain 1 life for each card exiled. Now they're back to 15 life. Okay. Yeah, now I probably kill Xeno and then take my chances with D-Manny. Because he can't kill D-Manny outright. Oh, wait, can he? It's got 15 power now. What was the second mode in that thing? Put 2+1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Oh. Yeah, he's just going to go for D-Manny. Okay. I think he's got enough power to kill him. Yeah, if he's got the power to do it, then that totally makes sense. God, this thing is nasty. And like flavorfully it should be, because like it's a really nasty dinosaur in the movie. Fun note, so as a fan of the Jurassic Park film series, there's a big difference between the first movie and all of the sequels. And that's like in the first movie, the dinosaurs don't show up right away. And there's a lot of like hype of just talking about them and like kind of building them up. And I think that's what's missing in some of the later, especially the later films. Like there's not a lot of dialogue or like suspense around, like in the first movie, the T-Rex is a character. And in the later movies, whatever the big bad, the Indominus Rex, it's Jurassic World was okay with it. Like, they talked about the Indominus Rex a little bit. But, you know, I thought they could have did, like, a little bit more with that and just kind of built it up as a character a little bit more. Where, like, I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom in a while. That's the toughest one to get through. That's not an easy watch. But as I remember in that one, it was just, like, unstoppable killing machine with, like, no real sort of plot around it. Like, there's other cool stuff happening in the plot. It just doesn't have to do with the Indoraptor at all. That is a Portal to Phyrexia, which is a big play. Each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures, and that puts Indominus Rex back in the command zone. And so now it's going to be a question of what does Delta have in hand, what kind of keywords can he get on it. But he still killed D-Man, he went to 30 life, so he's bought himself a really big window of opportunity here. And with more cards, plus the Sylvan Library still in play, plus the Oversold Cemetery, that's a lot of value. Okay, yeah. So he let his commander go to the graveyard. He's going to put it back with Oversold Cemetery so he doesn't have to pay the mana, which means he can have a pretty good turn here. Master Biomancer, spicy. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional counters on it equal to Master Biomancer's power. Okay. Portal to Phyrexia does some other nasty stuff, I remember. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. Ooh, it's a Phyrexian. Yep, it seems good. And Delta's got a graveyard. Darksteel Sentinel keeps Flash Vigilance indestructible. Those are some keywords. Indominus Rex is back. Let's see what keywords it gets. Many. Death Touch, Menace, Flying, Haste, Lifelink. Has exactly 11. Yeah, I think he's got lethal. There it goes. Indominus Rex. Alpha. About to take it down. Yeah, it's a strong card. I would say maybe a little undercosted at 5 mana. Seems like it just gets like a little too big, a little too crazy. All for 5 mana. 6 mana seems a little more comfortable. I know people don't run many 6-mana commanders anymore, but yeah, it seems maybe a touch undercosted. Anyway, Delta takes it down, yeah. It was cool. It was a cool little look at the Indominus Rex deck. I thought it was a cool game overall. We got to see a lot of this deck, which makes me very excited. Yeah, there's just so many cool interactions in the deck. And we didn't even get to like one of the Ajani Planeswalkers. You get to one of the Ajanis, or like a Felidar Retreat, and everyone just gets massive quickly. Also, if another turn of Cathar's Crusade, we would have really gone wild. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in this deck. There's a lot of things that I want to rotate into the deck that I have not tried. Like I said, that original card pool was like 400 cards. And then after I made initial cuts, it was down to like 177. And there was like just a lot of stuff that I wanted to run. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 2 new Patreon supporters in Greg Bolton and Technicolored Mime. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below.